things like recreating the Reconstruction Finance Corporation, right, to like actually do public financing. I'm going to introduce legislation for, how do we start having the public ownership economy? How do we start maybe taking equity stakes in these AI companies? Or, an idea that we've been pushing at New Consensus, which might happen, is basically, what do you do when these AI companies, when their bubble bursts, right?
Well, there's something that I think was really interesting that Jeremy Corbyn tried to put forward in the Labour Party back in the day, which was through public finance banks offering workers a first right of refusal in terms of bankruptcy. If a company was about to go insolvent, then the workers could set up like a cooperative corporation to seize control over the company in its entirety, rather than offer like some kind of golden parachute to the executive class and then like literally tell all the workers to fuck off and hopefully they can get like a limited amount of welfare if they're lucky enough. I think this is a radical and transformative idea that could aid in workers taking ownership over their own work in many industries that are basically on the verge of their bubbles bursting, whether it be AI or numerous other sectors.
Yeah, I love that idea. I think an AI, like the thing that as we had in mind, and I'm curious to get your take, because part of this is like these are all new ideas. We're trying to figure out what's actually going to happen in the future, right?
Yeah.
But imagine the AI companies, the bubble burst, and these companies plus their banks, it's a huge amount of our economy, and they're going to come to the government and say, give us a bailout, or because we're too big to fail. So in that moment, imagine that instead of bailing them out, we actually buy them out for pennies on the dollar. Similar idea to what you said Corbyn did, except, not necessarily the workers, but the government does it. Turns all the data centers into essentially public utilities, or turns the companies into like not-for-profit, mission-driven companies. And, we open source the models and we use the compute power as our version of electricity. Like I think what electricity was to the 20th century, compute power might be for the 21st century, right? And then these essentially become utilities that we then use towards the good stuff. Yeah, we'd use it to cure cancer rather than making more slop feeds.
How do you feel